This very well could be the next big thing on YouTube. So I wasn't really ever planning on making a video like this where I'm like talking about like another YouTuber or YouTube as a whole, or just like other creators really, like in analyzing them. But there's something going on in like the YouTube space now, and I think it needs to be talked about. And I'm kind of like looking at it from a filmmaker standpoint instead of like however, you know, like the YouTube drama channels and stuff are looking at it. I'm looking at it as a change of course, because I personally think YouTube right now could be at a turning point with the style of content that we're going to start to see on this platform. I'm mainly going to be talking about Shane Dawson's series on Jake Paul.
All right, you guys, now buckle in for the mind of Jake Paul.
On YouTube, I've been watching YouTube for years, and on YouTube, throughout the past few years, there's been different waves of style of videos that we have seen on this platform. And I think right now might be the point where we see a new trend coming to YouTube. You know, when YouTube first started, there wasn't like really set like content creators. That wasn't like a thing. And then people of course started putting effort into making these videos that they would post on YouTube, and you'd get things like skits from like Ryan Higa, for example.
How to Be Ninja is a DVD for you.
And then we started to get introduced to like people like Smosh and Fred and all these people that would consistently put out this kind of content, and they gained an audience. Then we start to see like this new wave of viral videos start to come in, and we're introduced to creators like Jenna Marbles, who like kind of started vlogging.
Hello there, friends, and welcome to my tutorial on how to trick people into thinking you're really good looking.
The next wave of videos came through and content creators came through, and I think that would be like the time where we started seeing a lot of prank channels come up. Pranks had the inexplicable ability to go viral pretty easily. And then after that, a lot of these content creators were introduced to the idea of true vlogging, where you're just filming yourself, where you're just in your everyday life and you're filming yourself. And a lot of like the other big content creators from the other genres of videos, on top of what they were already doing, started to vlog as well.
Sup! Welcome to my very first vlog. Make sure you subscribe to my new channel, Superwoman Vlogs. The subscription button is right here somewhere.
Alright guys, alright, let's get serious. This channel is the Shay Tarts channel. This channel is going to be just to do whatever I want with. And I know you're going to say, Shay, what about your other channel? Can't you do whatever you want on that channel? Well, yeah, but then people will be like, Shay, that wasn't funny. Right now we're in LAX with starting today, my 34th birthday, I'm going to make a movie every day. Hey guys, good morning. Guess what? Like I said, it's gonna be hard again to vlog. Alright guys, you know what time it is. It is time to release everyday vlogs. We're gonna try.
And then vlogging became this big viral sensation of just people filming themselves throughout their everyday lives. And then we had people come over from other platforms like Instagram and Vine and all this stuff. And all these people came to YouTube and started vlogging and creating content here. And that's how Jake Paul became relevant on YouTube. He was known for Vine, and then him and his brother Logan Paul came over to YouTube and started vlogging, just filming their everyday life. And now vlogging is still kind of the trend. Like a lot of people are still vlogging, but it's become more creative. It's become more highly produced, and a lot more effort has just been put into these videos in general. Even though they still feel like vlogs, they're still really highly produced videos. There's a lot of thought behind what goes on in these videos, and they're not just people filming their everyday lives. It's so much more.
I feel like pretty much everyone that's a little bit older knows that it's all fake.
Shane Dawson's series is so good on so many levels. Not only is the content interesting, and we're starting to see like the behind the scenes of a lot of these people's videos, like for example, Jake Paul, we're starting to recognize that a lot of the stuff that he did in those videos was purely for entertainment purposes. Like it wasn't stuff that just happened on a whim. It was planned. A lot of the stuff that he did was planned, and it was for entertainment. On top of that, Shane Dawson's series is just insanely well produced and super entertaining. Like just the way that the whole thing is put together is brilliant. Something interesting about Shane's series as well, from a filmmaker standpoint, is it's something so new and so different that we really haven't seen on this platform before. It's such a perfect combination of like so many different genres, and it's almost scripted in certain ways and it's almost vloggy in certain ways. But not only is it all of these things together, it's an actual serial series. There's two different kinds of TV shows. You can have a serial TV show or a procedural, or some people call it episodic. And the difference between the two is episodic is by an episode basis. It's an episode by episode basis. And what that means is you could essentially just watch an episode in a series on its own without really watching any of the other episodes. You can watch that episode on its own, and it should still make somewhat sense. Whereas in a serial series, you kind of need to take each step. You kind of need to watch the episodes in order from start to finish, and everything in the end will make sense. Now, I've always looked at like vlog channels and stuff like that. Those tend to be episodic or procedural. You know, there is in a grand overlapping parallel between all of them, as like it's the same characters, essentially characters, if you want to call them that, the vloggers and their friends and whoever regularly appears in the videos, and it's their world, so it's still somewhat connected. But each vlog can stand on its own. But with Shane's series, and this is what makes it so different, is the fact that they're not episodic. You need to watch from start to finish in order for everything to sort of make sense. I mean, you could watch them on their own, but in the grand scheme and like the whole message of the series and the whole story that's taking place in this entire series wouldn't make as much sense if you split them up and you were selective on which videos you chose to watch. They need to be watched in order to properly fully experience the whole entire thing. But on top of that, he's adding a tone to these videos. To every single video, there's a certain tone, and that tone kind of follows out throughout the whole entire series. But that kind of leads me into my next point, is Shane's actually getting quite a bit of hate from the series that I've seen because of the tone of these videos. He's making Jake Paul out to look like a sociopath. He's trying to make it into like a horror style of like videos and trying to make it kind of scary and make Jake Paul seem like this crazy person that he's like trying to do these deep dives into and all this stuff.
All right, welcome to part 2 of The Mind of Jake Paul. Now, today's episode, I sit down with therapist Katie Morton to talk about the psychology of Jake Paul.
And Shane's getting quite a bit of hate for doing that.
Tattoos, probably.
Him having a mini panic attack over the fact that Jake Paul's left him an answer machine message. What is the big deal? I'm shaking. I'm like... I mean, you're an overreactor, mate.
And it could be somewhat understandable, but that leads me into my next point, is a lot of the stuff that you guys see on YouTube nowadays really needs to be taken with a grain of salt. A lot of the stuff that you see isn't necessarily real. And this is one of the other great parts of Shane Dawson's series, is we are starting to see that behind the scenes part of making YouTube videos. Even things that seem like personal and real life, and things that seem that they're just coming to mind and they're just random things that people are filming, like Jake Paul's vlogs, they just seem natural. They seem to just be, you know, that's what's happening in that day. But in reality, the things that are going on behind the scenes, a lot of this stuff is planned. Not only does that relate to Jake Paul's videos, and that's the great thing about Shane's series, is we're seeing that, but that also relates to Shane's videos. A lot of the stuff that is done by YouTubers and content creators to create these videos is purely for entertainment purposes. Like personally, I've never really thought that like Jake Paul was like a really bad person. Now, obviously there's some stupid shit that he's done on his videos, and yeah, maybe he's gone a little bit too far, but I've never really thought that what he was doing was malicious. I've never personally been like that big of a fan of Jake Paul's videos and his content and stuff like that, but these videos need to just be looked at like entertainment. Same goes for Shane's series. He's making it seem like this horror series, and like he's putting this scary music behind it and all this stuff that he's getting a lot of hate for, but I think people are neglecting the fact that the only reason why he's doing it is because he's creating content. The kind of overarching point that I'm trying to make here is a lot of the stuff that you see as we're seeing through Shane's series isn't exactly as it seems.